Yo, what's shaking, AC?
Not much, but hey, how's your day going? What's happening there?
Good. I have to tone those intros down now because there's a whole bunch of people working outside my office, and they yesterday they were like, "We heard you recording TikToks." I was like, "Oh,
Oh, that's embarrassing. Well, I thought when you record them, you just lip sync anyway. So
well,
just the
the
music goes
trick
through
to
that.
good lip syncing is to actually sing along with the
Oh
song."
gosh. Okay, I don't. I know I'll have to go back and watch one of your TikToks where you're lip syncing and see if I can actually hear you.
Yep.
All right, so thought it might be interesting to get your kind of debrief takeaways or insights on the core values. I was gonna say workout. It was like a workout that we did with your team, your leadership team. Uh, I think it might be kind of cool to hear, three guys came together, your kind of top leadership team, and we went crazy with brainstorming to figure out, some of the cultural pieces. And often I find people are skeptical at first, like, does this really matter? And like, it's like, is it fluffy? What are we going to do with this? And I thought it might be interesting to sort of talk about this in case there's anybody out there that thinks the same, and just reflect on the fact that when you first started your business and defined your core values, you guys did it in a very, I'm going to almost say transactional way. Like it was like you were just trying to do the task and come up with things that you wanted people to think about you, or that you wanted to try to make happen by calling it a core value, almost like you were making up the rules instead of like the actual values. So I don't know,
Yep.
reflect on that a little bit. Let's hear it.
Well, I mean, the the important thing I think that I learned, and it wasn't just through this call, but it was just in general, throughout the last number of years, is that oftentimes when a company creates a mission or a core value or whatever, it ends up being like posters that you hang on the wall that say like resilience or grit or something
The
along those.
ones that are behind you right now for people that are
Yeah.
watching this on a video.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these ones have a sentence written below them, which is kind of what I was getting to. If you have a poster that just has this word, it starts to become fluff. If you hang it up in your office, all that sort of stuff, it almost is a testimony to the fact that like it doesn't matter how much of these encouraging words you have around your office, that's not going to make your business grow, because it's not the words, it's the meaning and the why behind them, which is kind of what some of these sentences like replicate and help resonate with people that read them. So when a company creates core values, you could go into that trap, right? Just doing it transactionally so that you have it because it's part of the process that's in the EOS or traction book, right? But there has to be meaning to them because they have to resonate and percolate through your entire system, not just your support center staff, but to the franchisees. And even further, they have to be seen by the end customer, right? Because you're trying to build loyalty amongst your customers. And if it doesn't percolate down to them, there's a few things that could be happening here, right? Maybe you have people that don't exemplify these core values and they don't live by them, but it could also be because your core values are incorrect or they aren't something that resonates with the team, right? And so going into design those things has appeared to be a very important thing, because you're refining them and you're creating something that you could actually use on. And I don't mean this exaggerated. I don't mean to exaggerate, but use on a daily basis. When something good happens, oh, there's that core value. When something bad happens, let's use that core value to get through that. And as soon as people start to pick up on that, and you could see it go through the whole system, and that's how you build or set the foundation for a culture, because without that, it's just words, and you can't live words if you don't believe them and they don't resonate with you.
Can you give an example? And if not, just that's okay. But I wondered if you might be able to give an example of something that you thought was a core value for control V, but you're like, it is not a core value of ours. Like, we got to get rid of that one because you're going to overhaul it now once we get really drilled down on the things that we uncovered today.
Yeah, so one of the core values was had to do with like attention to detail, you know, and our attempt at making it a little bit more whimsical was calling it perfection is not enough, you know, always strive to do better and have that level of perfection or attention to detail, because that's what you need when representing your brand voice, you know, servicing customers, all that sort of stuff. But it occurred to me that that's not so much a core value as it is a trait, with, you know, a personality trait or a skill set or something along those lines. And, you know, for the most part, whether you do or don't do that, everyone always strives to be, you know, as perfect as possible, right? That's one of the crutches that we have as humans, right? Even if you have a messy bedroom as a child, you know it's messy and you got to clean it up. You'll eventually get to it, but it's a goal of yours, whether you're achieving it or not. It's just a trait that people have. That's not what you use to live your life. When you go down the street, you know, are you actually sitting there and walking in like a completely straight line because you're so obsessed with perfection, even though that doesn't impact anything around you? Unlikely. I mean, maybe there's some people who do that, you know what I mean? So it was a lot of traits, and more so things that we desired, you know. Pay attention to what you're doing, put some thought into it, make sure you don't send out emails with spelling mistakes and use wrong colors and branding and all that sort of stuff. But that's not a core value. That's not what people live by. You know, they don't wake up and say, I'm going to be perfect. Perfect is what I am. Perfect is at the root of, you know, like, I think people have more humility than that, you know?
Wow, that was a long, like, really thorough, detailed analysis of that. I really agree with the part that, like, what it looked like was that it was like you were kind of more creating almost like rules. Like, this is what we want. This is what we're frustrated about, and we at the say maybe support center embody this, but other people don't. Like, maybe the franchisees don't. So if we call this a core value, it will make it happen. And that obviously doesn't work. And so today, well, the work that we did, it was a starting point, but was like, let's like talk about what are some things that are true to the way that you guys do things in your culture. And I think one of the ones that was so obvious was like fun, and we haven't fleshed it out yet exactly, but what does that mean? And the more we talked about the different ways or things that means, you know, we were coming up with words like, you know, playful and whimsical and those kinds of things that, like, that'll all play into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the more that you embrace that and put that out there as like, this is who we are, even just to attract the right franchisees and attract the right team members and maybe customers as well, but mostly, you know, just that we are all aligned on these things. I just think it makes it so much easier to attract the right people around you.
Yeah, and it's not easy to create those for franchisors, franchisees, entrepreneurs, startup, anyone who's running a business. Your day-to-day is so much focused on the business, putting out fires, making your P&Ls in line, right? You're focused on like linear left-brained tasks. And
Yeah.
sometimes you have to get into the relationship component of the business. And this is where the core values come in. So if you need to have them both ironed out.
Yeah, like relationship, personality of the business, personality of the team, and yeah, I think that just that a clarity helps align everybody so that everybody's on the same page, and when then you can use it in your decision making, right? Like when you're thinking, or like when say one of your team members is something doesn't seem right, and you go, well, let's look at the core values and let's see if there's an issue with, you know, one of those things, right? And you're like, well, or like, well, that person is you know, being afraid to take action, and we're a very action oriented team. That's the issue. We need to talk about that. It helps you pinpoint, right, what you need to be aware of to make yourself be able to have the momentum you're trying to have. So
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic meeting. I can't wait to do all the follow-up and, you know, dig deeper into it
yeah,
and
we
really
just made a big
refine it.
mess of like things, and then started to kind of drill it down. But then the next step is literally you need to stop for a bit and come back to it. So it's in the holding. It's like the 14-day cool off period
Yeah.
right now. So awesome. Well, I hope it was fun. And yeah, we talked about your mission, your target market, and all these things that are so important. So I hope that everybody out there is very clear on that, and that sometimes you have to revamp it and revisit it. So don't forget to do
Absolutely.
that.
Let's wrap it
All
up.
right. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
3, 2,
2,
1. Go
1.
be
Go
awesome.
be awesome.